Let's check and make sure everything's working. Audio is working. YouTube, are you working? You are working. Alright. Yay. Stop wiggling, please, camera. Alright. Well, on Sunday, I was a little tipsy, and I paid for a bunch of entries into the local painting tournament for whoever is nice and gets them next. So if you're in Hawaii, go enter something in the arm brush challenge. I also bought an orc jet because Zoom. It's really cute, and the little turret spins around. It's cool. I built it. Oh man, I broke the thing again. I built it essentially with all the bombs on the bottom. You can magnetize these, but I mean, if someone has a problem with your Daka jet having bombs on the bottom, it's an orc vehicle. Get wrecked. Same thing with the turret. I was like, the turret is too cool not to build. And I like the big, like, double-bladed B-52 style tail. I thought was really cool. So he is very fun, and I'm looking forward to getting him base coated. Speaking of things I have base coated, that would have been a cooler segue if I had already had the camera on. There we go. Alright, so I base coated one of these big sexy beasts, along with all of the Sexagores here. They're all base coated as well. And right now Hawaii is kind of under this like crazy flood thing where it's been raining for days and days and days and days and days. So one evening at like 9 p.m. it stopped raining for a little while, so I went out and sprayed these guys. Hawaii usually doesn't have any trouble with that at all. So can't really complain that much, but it is what it is. Got some knobs base coat or primed as well. So I got 5 of them. We'll probably paint one of these up today, or at least get them started while we wait for some other paints to dry. So we'll toss those over there. And our war boss, he has a couple little customizations, but nothing crazy. It's another knob. He's got a custom power claw that I thought I could also say is a kill saw. And our main man for tonight, the treeman from Bloodbowl that we customized up on stream last time. This is how we're going to get him to match. So he's going to hopefully end up looking like that at the end. So we'll keep this guy just off camera because he's going to be our reference. Alright. So if I'm being super honest, I don't remember how I painted those. My paint palette here is filled with Sisters of Battle bits, because here's a whole bunch of headless Sisters of Battle while I decide what heads to put on them. I will say for the Sisters of Battle, the only one I actually magnetized was the Superior, so I can swap her weapons in and out. Everyone else I just built straight, because I mean, if I have an option to give a lady a giant freaking flamethrower, damn straight I'm going to take it. So, it's probably not the most optimal thing, but like, flamethrowers are too freaking cool, you know? Same thing with this one. The first weapon I magnetized is the combi weapon, where it's like a machine gun and a flamethrower, just for get away from her, you bitch factor. So that's pretty rad. Alright, so we're ignoring the pile of heads there. I'm going to take my ring off so I don't get any paint on it. And we're going to start work on our friendly little tree man. So, first off, I've got some matte white from Army Painter. Now these were sprayed with Corax white. I didn't like super heavily apply it. Just want to get something there so the paint sticks. They have also had a bunch of time to cure. So they've had about 24 hours to cure, just slightly under. But I do want a more even white coat without spraying it again. So this will give us some variation in the tone, which is also nice. We're going to do a heavy dry brush of white all over our tree buddy here. So again, super, super heavy. We don't really care if it's mega heavy. We kind of want it to be. So we're going to do a bunch of colors after this that are going to reduce the white, and then we're going to bring it back with another kind of heavy dry brush over it. So after this, we're going to touch up, or we're going to paint in all of the sort of mint green pieces. And then we'll touch up, if I have too much of that in some areas, we'll touch that up with white. And then we're going to hit the whole thing with a custom wash in sort of like a military green. And then from there, we're going to hit that. Wait, am I thinking the order wrong? I didn't write down the order for these trees. I really wish I would have. Alright, we'll think about that as we go. So basically we need to do a custom wash of like a dark green at some point. We need to do a layer of apothecary white. Yeah, we're gonna have to pick the skulls out at some point. That's gonna be one of the last things we do. Alright. Okay, so let's find our mint green. This guy doesn't have any weapons or anything like that, so we're gonna have to worry about that with him. Just, ow, I pull some of my beard out. So let's find our mint green. So, we're not using Kraken skin, I don't believe. I don't think that's Kraken skin. It might be. Yeah, that might actually be Kraken skin. Let's look at the other alternative though. See what we got. Because I know there's another mint green that came in this box. Ah! No, it's the crack flesh. Okay, maybe I'm just wrong. There's goblin green. I think I had something like army green, commando green, something like that that I made the wash out of. It's field gray. This, boys and girls, scaly hide, that's what I was thinking, but that's wrong. No, it's Kraken skin. This, boys and girls, is why you write... Ooh, Crypt Wraith. That's the one I did the color out of, I think. This is why you write down your painting steps. There's army green. Maybe it was that one. Always write down your painting steps. That's so you can avoid this and don't have to do it. Don't have to be like, well, no, is it this color? I don't know. Maybe it was this color. No, it wasn't that one. I don't know, man. That's the color I used for the wash. So there we go. We know that now, at least too. And then Crypt Wraith, I think, is the leaves. All right. Let's get dangerous, I guess. Paint those details in. Blurp. These don't have to be perfect. We're not going to worry about if they're not perfect, but we're going to try to get them as perfect as possible. I mean, the thing about trees is that they are natural shapes, but they do have clear areas where some colors would not be. You know, for example, the outer parts of the tree aren't going to be the super light green stuff. It's just not how trees work. But if there's a little bit of bleed between the two, it's okay. You know, we're not painting really stark armor panels or anything like that here. You know, natural shapes, natural lines. Perfectly okay if there's a little bit of stuff to it. or a little bit of bleed over variation, stuff like that. And since we will be doing essentially 2 layers of wash, 1 layer of dry brush over this, it's going to cover up a bunch of this color anyway. And we're going to do a little bit of detective work on our other tree man that we have painted. And we will use him as our example to help us figure out what order these things went on. Because I know I'm going to have a wash made out of that wyvern venom. And I know I'm going to have a layer of apothecary gray, or apothecary white rather. I just don't know what order they had gone on in. And we can go and see what ooh, a bunch of white still there on the inside of the palm. Let's clean that up. Let's drag it out. Okay, we'll come back to that area in a minute when it's dry. There we go. Get more joints painted. That's a lot more than I intended to pour out, but it's okay. Here I go, wasting all the paint in the world tonight, apparently. Since that's the case, we'll get some down on the inside here more than that area better covered. You're not going to be able to see this. I'm just sort of throwing paint on my brush and then blopping it down in there. I can't really even see what I'm doing. I just know I'm getting some paint down on the inside. And we'll drag that out a little bit up to the top, just because it'll be more visually interesting. I think. Let me clean this detail brush off. We'll just swap to the big brush. It's okay. Let's see, the back of this arm here, is that wood or is that tangle? That to me looks like it's tangle. And that's tangle. This is tangle as well. Wait a minute, it looks like these fingers are actually like roots as well. So then they have that like back bracer piece on them there. That one, they look a little more like actual woody to me. These fingers do. Yeah, than the root parts. That's root part though. And I want to get inside this here. So I sort of painted a bunch of these inside areas before in this color. Yeah, we'll get like inside this one too. Down and stuff. Just get these shapes picked out. Okay. Inside the mouth there, and we're going to get inside this eye like that. Nice. Alright, that was a little bit off screen. Oh well. Okay, so now we've got our green sort of root parts in there. Okay, so now let's look at the completed model, and we're going to figure out which order stuff went on in. It looks to me like this is white that's been dyed. And then maybe a layer of the whitewash over top of it. Yeah, and then the dry brushing to pick out the highlights. That's what that looks like to me. So that's what we'll try. Okay, I need to get some water, so I will be right back. Whoosh. Oh. To the bathroom I go, or return from. Alright, we got some water. And we're going to mix up a little wash hit the whole model with. So, I don't have a fancy eyedropper or anything. Got that. Put some water in there. Now we're going to need... Let's shake our colors up. All right. A little bit of mixing medium. And then our paint. And then we'll shake it all up. And we should have a pretty runny paint without losing too much color. Yep, not bad at all. Cool. Okay. Let's actually, I should get a little more water in there. And we'll get that mixed up. Yeah, now it's a little more watery, so it's going to stain and pull. Oh, it's actually going everywhere now. Okay, we'll leave that be for now. Okay. All right, there we go. So let's hit our guy. Now, if we wanted this to behave a little bit more like regular wash, you just had to throw some fairy liquid in it, and then it would have pulled away with the surface tension change. So it would have pulled away from the highlights and stuff a little bit then. But it being more just like a really thin coat, I'm happy with, because it's going to get in them grooves, highlight them grooves, especially over the white, and it's going to dye. It's going to dye all the stuff. And these are kind of like dead, sort of desiccated, like swamp trees. One of the things I was actually still thinking about working on with these guys is maybe doing some like Spanish moss in their branches and stuff. That might be kind of cool. I haven't done that yet. Alright. And as you can see, we're hitting everything with this weird water medium mixing nonsense. I probably didn't have to make nearly as much as I did. I thought this tree for some reason in my brain was bigger, but it's all good. So we're going to get it out to every edge just to get that stuff dyed, because we're going to do a dry brush over this after another layer of paint, but it's all good. We we want to make sure that we're not excluding details and stuff. We'd rather have the other layers pick out the other details than us purposely skip to detail something right now. So you can see he's getting kind of green now, and it'll darken down a little bit as he dries as well. Just making sure it's on all the branches. Fronts and the backs, because our base coat was not, or our not base coat, our prime was not perfect. Okay, so there's our tree guy. Let's see if we missed anything. We'll hit some more in here, get some more in there. Ooh, that area's get some down in there too. Down in there again. Underneath on his little tree butt. And this back, we'll hit the back again as well. There we go. So we'll go ahead and we'll let him dry. That will take a little bit to dry because he's kind of sloppy, messy right now. And while that dries, we'll work on our frenzy works. I'm just hitting a couple more spots that I see as I set them down. I would like some more of it on here in the back of the hand and stuff. Okay. Alright, sweet. That's made a right proper mess. So we'll got some tissue or something, we can clean that up. There we go. Just so we don't end up getting this green stuff on everything. Cool. Alright, so let's pick and work. Whoa. He's not bad work. Do you want to do him or do we want to do this guy? We'll do this guy. He doesn't have a gun we have to draw out, so we'll do him instead. Alright, so our Mr. Tree is going to take a little bit. So going to work on our orc friend here. Okay. So these guys, they are my Wah boys. So they're essentially goths. Except they have the war boys from Fury Road style white skin. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick out some of the armor and stuff, and it's going to be in kind of a dark color. We're just going to get that blocked in. By the time we get some of this done, our tree man's probably going to be good for his next coat. And this is why it's always great to have a second project or something else to pick up. while your main thing works. Because otherwise, like, I'd pretty much be done at this point for like, 10, 15 minutes. And not be able to paint. Because my tree needs to really dry before I hit him with the next step. And he's coming along pretty quickly already, but just picking up some of the armor panels. Nothing too crazy. I'll probably come back and I'll pick some of these out as gray, because I don't want everything to be perfectly monotone. I'll probably do that when I've got a little bit better detail vision than I do at the moment. So, it was a very long day at work. I like my job, but still some long days. I do have to say, I actually do really enjoy the goth color scheme. It's kind of like everybody is skunks, and I think that's cool. Well, let's just say I wish knobs actually counted as troops and not elites. I knew they're like the definition of an elite unit, but I feel like the orcs don't get a lot of cool regular troops, or maybe make it so that like burner boys and fly boys and stuff are actually troops. That would be pretty sweet. Just something, I mean, really, they have boys and they've got grots, and that's it. Since you have to always take troops, it'd be cool to have more options. Maybe like fly boys, that'd be pretty rad. Basically, any kit with the word boys in the name, I think should be a troop. And everyone like uniformly is like, but that wouldn't be balanced. And honestly, I have no idea. But sounds cool on paper, right? They're all boys. It sort of makes sense. I don't know. I hope we get something fun like that in the new Orc Codex whenever it comes out. Yeah, something just to shake up how the armies are built a little bit. This is not being neat or careful or pretty. I'm just trying to get some stuff blocked in. Since I was a derp and popped out so much black. To the next phase, we'll probably do the same thing to a different guy. Alright, I'm going to set him to the side. Clean this brush off. Have some of the old Fresca. Listen to that downpour rain out here in Hawaii. Alright, let's find our apothecary white. Let's mix that sucker up. This will just add a little bit of gray throughout the various areas. It should make a nice tonal difference when we dry brush them. Our idea here is really to have like a variance in tone across all the flat or all the like different surfaces, but we do want them to be tied together a little bit. So let's take a look at our tree man. Looking pretty good. I'll be right back. That, boys and girls, is the problem with very thin wash like paint. It runs fucking everywhere. Alright, so let's clean up his... He's still got it everywhere, so let's clean it up a little bit. Alright, so you can see a lot of the tree areas are dyed and a lot of his details are pulled out with the green. So now we're just going to hit him all over with a nice quick coat of Apothecary White. Just going to add some gray to the various parts so to make him look a little bit like an older tree. Before we hit him with our dry brush of white. And again, also just going to tie the whole model together, all the different colors. Just tie it together a little nicely, and add some nice variation to each of the surfaces. You know, we're not really here trying to like paint each individual like piece of bark and stuff like that. I mean, we could do that, but I don't really want to. Instead, we're just trying to get an overall palette for the whole tree. I'm going to blow out extra paint to get stuck in the gaps. So we maintain the gaps because they look cool. Just get some gray moving all over him. Before we do our final white dry brush. The final white dry brush is going to hit a lot of areas. It's not going to be the lightest dry brush. It's going to be a little bit heavy actually. But then we can, after that, start picking out some of those details. Alright. So here's our tree man. Plus his Apothecary White. You can see he's got... Oh man, I was off the screen a little there. Sorry. You can see he's getting some tonal variation now. So he has sort of the two-tone initial dry brush. He's got the paint we mixed up. And now he's got the Apothecary Gray sort of tying it all together. So after this, he'll get his dry brush of just pure white. Going to be a pretty heavy dry brush. And then we'll do some detail picking out from him. His details are going to need to be washed as well. So when we do the skulls and stuff, they're all going to be hit with Agrax Archate after they dry. So if you notice on this one, there's actually two different skull colors here. I used the darker skull for like the main skull. I'm not going to do that on this guy because he doesn't, in my opinion, really have like a main skull that I really want someone to focus on. But this was Skeleton Horde contrast paint from GW. The other stuff is Skeleton Bone from Army Painter with Agrax Archate over it. Alright, let's get some more black blocked in on our works. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, my eyes are very, very tired tonight, so the idea of doing full detail painting on these orcs, nah, not happening. Not happening. man. So tired. Did not realize. But yeah, I've been pretty much working from home every Wednesday, but I had to go in today. Hence why the stream is so much later than normal. Usually I just sort of stream whenever I need to take a break from programming. Just like, oh man, I need a break right now. I'm gonna go stream for an hour or whatever, you know. But today I had to go in. Had a meeting with all the big, fancy, important people today to go show them the stuff I've been doing, and they were very happy with it, which was very nice. Had a bunch of them come up to me like way later in the day and tell me what a good job I'm doing. It was really cool. Next time I get a bonus at work, I'm debating doing something really dumb with it. Maybe buying like a Cerastus Knight or something stupid like that. Really not sure yet. I was thinking about buying a Warhound Titan, but I mean honestly I don't like playing games big enough to actually use the Warhound Titan, and it's a really cool model, but like I would really want to use it, and it would motivate me to play game sizes that I don't want to play, and so I'm probably not going to do that. But like a Cerastus Knight I could do, you know. He would fit into, you know, encouraging games. Him and like an Arminger or him and a regular Knight. Totally do that. I don't know. Kind of want to do something a little out there though. There is also like a lower Knight, like Centaur body. So I was debating maybe picking up a regular Knight and picking that up. Like 3D printing it myself maybe. That might be pretty fun. I don't know. Haven't figured it out yet, but you know, thinking about it's fun, right? Like, if you suddenly got a bunch of money just to do whatever the hell with, what would you do, right? Like that's pretty cool, you know. Like I think same thing when people think about like tax returns and stuff like that. My taxes are always screwed up though. I always got to pay money, but you know it's fun, right? Like this the what if kind of thinking, like, you know, if this suddenly happened, what would you do if you won the lottery? You know, that kind of thing. Also, this Sunday, I might be actually teaching someone how to play Warhammer. I have a coworker who's actually kind of interested, so I might be showing them how to play, which would be really fun. I'm on the fence if I want to do a combat patrol, I'm still trying, or if I want to do a Warcry. Honestly, I was thinking about doing maybe Kill Team, but honestly, Kill Team has more roles than regular Warhammer, so bleh. So I'm thinking maybe we'll do Warcry, because I think it's an easier game. I think it's more beginner friendly. My dog just knocked something over downstairs. And also, not only is it more beginner friendly, I think it's easier to get into. Like if you wanted to actually play after this, you know, after the game, where I would just be using my stuff or whatever. If you wanted to actually get into it, you know, the barrier of entry is much lower, right? Like you need a box, and that's it, you know. And the box is like $60, and then you can paint them up, or you can play with them in gray, and you're good to go. You know, there's no like, oh, you need a $40 codex, and then you need $150 box, and then you need blah, 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 you know, like none of that. It's just you got your own box of minis, and that's all you need. You know, the kill team or the war cry boxes, they come with all the cards in them, which is really cool. It's like those original kill team boxes that were awesome, where they came with a bunch of terrain and a model and stuff. That was a good time. Alright, just getting some of the black blocked in on the orcs. Alright, let's take a look at our treeman. He's still a little wet in some areas. Still a little wet, so we will blow in that wood. Alright, so let's pull our colors out. We're gonna need this. Then we're gonna need skeleton bone. We're gonna need this for the leaves. And then we're gonna need Agraxer Shade. Where are you? You've got some work to do now. You're how I pretend to have skill. Where are you, Agraxer Shade? Nope. My desk is a mess. I've got this one right here. This one's kind of watered down. There's the fresh one. I don't know why we're singing in Scooby-Doo voice now, though. Alright, there we go. We'll dump this. We don't need any more of that water. Go in the paint thing. Not gonna need our friend here. You can go over there. That still needs a little bit of dry. So actually, let's do some details. Let's do some of the skulls and stuff while that waits. And we might have it hit. We might have some of our dry brush hit it. Worst case, we'll touch them up. But at least we'll keep the energy moving, because I don't have the visual acuity with my tired eyes today to do the any more details on the orcs. Do 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 do. Yeah, I'm really happy with the decision to cover up the detail on the inside with the same kind of like goop that's on the arms. I like that a lot. And then I got to sink these skulls in it. I think that works really well as a concept. You know, skulls are a little hard to get to. I like the idea a lot. This guy up here. And I tell you, when you're streaming, it's like when you're presenting, right? Like, if you stop talking for like a second, it feels like a century. You just feel like, oh no, I haven't said anything in 10 seconds, you know? What am I doing? It's definitely a weird feeling. I enjoy it though, and I will say that streaming It's definitely helped me speak casually when I'm presenting and stuff. It's not really something I really have ever had a lot of trouble with, but lets me definitely contain the tempo and pace. I don't ever get to a point where like I feel uncomfortable, right? I feel like something that happens a lot when people are nervous is they go really fast, and their speech pattern shoots up, right? And it makes their presentation feel like uncomfortable. Yeah, that's something you see a lot. Really, you want to maintain your kind of normal tempo when you're talking, when you're presenting. In something like this, I'm sort of lost in thought, or like focused on what I'm doing. So like my speech pattern is a little slower than it normally would be, right? But I don't want to get in a spot where like I feel like I need to go really, really fast. You know what I mean? And I actually like run myself out of breath and stuff. Like I've actually done that when presenting before, and it makes presenting very, very, very hard. You end up like gasping for breath between slides and stuff. It's kind of messed up. But once you start doing it, it's really hard to like stop doing it in a presentation. It's hard to stop that train once it's rolling, kind of thing. So you really want to make sure it doesn't happen in the first place. Just maintain your normal speaking tempo. Alright, well, there's the base color for our scowls. Pretty much. Alright, nice. Okay, definitely gave him some more time to dry, which is good. We'll go ahead and do the dry brush, even though he's not perfect. Because we do want it to be a little heavier. We don't want it to be super, super light. Go. Paint along the brush, and pull a bunch of it off, like that. And we're going to go over our model. I do want to avoid the kind of tentacly bits here if we can. If we get a little white on them, it's okay. But if we have the option, we do want to avoid them. So yeah, it's looking pretty darn good. Lots of nice variation in our tone and colors. And then we're going to do just one last final even higher dry brush of the white. Alright, I'm going to hit it just in a couple areas. Really quick little slaps. just to get more variation in it already. And I especially want that sort of there in the face, there in the teeth there, stuff like that. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Our tree man there. We do have to repaint that eye and the horns on the big head. So while our bone color, I'm making a giant fucking mess tonight. While our bone color is still wet, we'll go ahead and knock those out. With that, so I stop putting my damn hand in it. Alright. Yep, Crypt Wraith is our leaves color. We'll go ahead and we'll put that in. Them leaves painted in. Now the one problem with doing these leaves slightly different color is that there's not going to be like a ton of this color throughout the body, but we're going to have it in a couple spots here in the arms, a couple of those little branches coming off the model. So we're going to have this green in a couple spots. It's just not going to be everywhere. It's not going to be full orphan mode, but it is primarily going to be condensed up here at the top. Now these leaves are something that would be very easy to miss some. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pick a face of the model and paint everything that I see on that face. Like I said earlier, my eyes are super tired, so I'm happy this model doesn't have a ton of like crazy fine details, because I did want to get him painted on stream today. So I'm not going to be able to stream anymore this week until Sunday. Maybe I'll sneak in a cheeky let's paint some orc stream on Friday. I'm half debating taking Friday off as a holiday. Just give myself a nice long vacation. Okay, let's go ahead and let's paint all the leaves on this face. This. This Friday does mark the or is it next week? Yeah, the middle of next week is the end of the arm brush competition. So it's your last day, middle of next week, to submit a model. If you are in Hawaii on Oahu, I suggest you highly do it. I believe they do it every year, which is pretty cool. And I mean, honestly, it's just a lot of fun. I just really like competitions for painting and stuff. Because you know, it's a really nice time to try something new, right? I was just going to submit a model I'd already painted and was like very, very happy with, and I was like, no, I don't want to miss this chance to paint something new, you know what I mean? To be like, alright, I'm gonna use this as an excuse to do this wacky shit. That's what I did. So I motivated myself to sculpt the Immortan Joe mask, stuff like that. Really get the sculpt locked down, probably to be the best thing I've ever sculpted. I mean, it's still not perfect, but I'm quite happy with it. You know, because my first pass, I was like, yeah, it looks really good. And then I was like, you know, it's not, because of the competition, I was like, it's not as good as it can be. So it's like, alright, round 2, here we go. How do we add to this? How do we fix what we have, kind of thing. Yeah, see, I fucked up there. I have to hit that with some white. There's the niceness of doing the white dry brush. We can hit the leaves and stuff where we mess up with white, or the branches, and it'll cover it up without having to do all the billion layers of paint we did on this guy already. Yep. Alright, those leaves painted. Let's get that one mess up fixed. I think I have enough white out still to fix that. Or not. Man, it is really coming down here. My phone keeps going off with flash flood warnings. It's crazy. Okay. I'm just gonna boop, 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 and then just blend it in. And it'll just look like a little bit of a highlight. I'm just gonna hit a couple more areas. Since we got the white out, we'll hit a couple areas and do the same thing. Get it out there and then blend it out. Again, we're just trying to add a little bit of variation to the tones and stuff. You know, get the edges and things to pop out a little bit more than they are. You know, that's all we're trying to do here. picking out some sort of the very edge kind of end highlights. You can see it already as it dries, it blends in a little bit more. You know, we are blending it a little bit. And it just is a little bit of like slightly lighter tone in some spots, which is what we want. So have some nice variation. That's all we're looking for. Oh man, we were off camera again. But yeah, you can start to see that we got some of the lighter highlights, you know, there around the mouth, up on those like main front branches there. Let's do like this edge here as well. Let's get some of those, you know, kind of edge highlighty kind of bits. Pick them out. We're a little bright there, so we'll blend it in a little bit more. Trying to get some of that definition there. So yeah, looking pretty darn good, I think. Let's go ahead and let's get our surshade here. We will get the skulls and stuff picked out. If there's a little bit of overspray from the Earthshade, that's fine. We just want to make sure there's not a ton of it. Oh. You don't want to make everything we just did brown. This is a, you know, it's a desiccated kind of swamp-looking tree. You don't really want it to be brown. The only source of really brown we want is the skulls. They're the main thing we want to have sort of this warmer kind of brown tone. Everything else we want kind of to be cool and kind of green. You know. We'll get a little around there so that we get some shadow. Yeah. And that, my friends, is our completed treeman. He's going to be Arc Revenant. He's going to go with our other tree bros here and look pretty damn spiffy while he does it. Let's get that dot on the skull. I want to fix that because that's going to drive me crazy. This area where the wash ran off too much. There we go. Yeah, so that is our, counts as Arc Revenant. We'll let him dry out And then he'll be ready for basing tomorrow. And might actually be ready for a game this weekend. I mean, actually, we could actually even do a round of basing right now if I can find it. Yeah, so let's grab some Sterling mud. Nothing particularly fancy here. We don't mind if it gets on the model a little bit. We don't want to like absolutely coat his legs in it or anything like that. If it gets a little bit on him, it's okay. Here's a tree. He's going to be in a swamp. No, we don't want to put it like all up and down his legs or anything like that. But a little bit on his roots is good. It'll make him a face coming out of the mud. Yeah. And there he goes. Round 1. And we'll let that go ahead and dry. And then I'll finish up basing him. And hopefully he will be in a battle report this weekend. And we will have gone from box to table in 3 streams in a week for our little tree man right here. Yeah. Well, if you watched this back, thank you for watching. And hopefully you found me painting this tree man to match this guy, to match my other Sylvaneth Warband guys. Hopefully you found that pretty darn cool. Yeah. Well, if you watch it back, thank you for watching.